This is Average Joe PT. If you like what you see, if you want to, subscribe. We're all about reducing pain, reducing anxiety through education, and improving quality of life. Today we're going to look at 3 main muscle groups that can affect low back pain when they're tight and irritated. So stay tuned. Here we go. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to cross our leg over to stretch that quadratus lumborum, and we're going to pull nice and gentle, holding for about 30 seconds to a minute, putting my hand on the hip just to kind of support the spine and the hip so you don't lift your hip off too far off the table or the floor that you're lying on. Make sure you're holding that for a good period of time. You should feel stretched down where my hand's at. You might even feel it up in the hip as well as the IT band, which goes down the side of your leg. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go in a relaxed position. I'm going to show you that muscle group. Now, if you look at the spine here, it's going to show and pop up, boom, right where that muscle is, where we're talking about, that quadratus lumborum. Now we're going to switch and just stretch the opposite side. Again, holding for 30 seconds to a minute. Make sure you do both sides of the body. That way you just stay symmetrical and you don't end up having one side tight and the other side kind of stretched out. Same thing, you're holding for 30 seconds to a minute. Just go to a point where you feel a pull, not any pain. And then once you're all done, you just come up into a nice rested position. And then you can do that 2 or 3 times if you want to. So the next is the hamstrings. You're going to be in the same position, hook lying, where you're going to have your hands behind your knee and extend the knee to feel a pull behind the leg. This is the best supported position for your lower back, as well as stretching those hamstrings, and you should feel pull right where my hands are kind of rubbing down. And just think about keeping your ankle relaxed and just think about straightening the knee out. Rest, and then you're going to go ahead for a few seconds and then extend back out, letting blood flow come back into those hamstring muscles and allow them to kind of stretch out a little bit further. And this actually helps so that the pelvis doesn't rotate a lot, because these muscles, as I will show you in the next few seconds, attach at what we call the ischial tuberosities. And those ischial tuberosities that I'm showing you, and boom, the hamstrings are going to attach right at there, right where those big red meaty muscles are, and they'll pull on that pelvis. And so we're going to switch now and go to the opposite leg and just kind of stretch out the hamstrings in the opposite leg. Now one side might be tighter than the other, and that's normal. But you want to try over time get them so you symmetrically have the same length, and always rest for a few seconds when stretching, allowing the blood flow to come back in, and then hold, relax, 30 seconds to a minute. The last one we're going to show you is the hip flexor stretch, where you're in a half kneeling position. Push your hand on your hip and the other one on your knee to kind of support your spine. You're staying right up and tall. You should feel stretch right where my hand was rubbing. You should feel a nice pull. Make sure that you don't pitch forwards, that you stay nice and tall and you lean back. So you feel stretched through the hip. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you right where that muscle group, you look down below and then we're going to come right on up, and you can actually see where those hip muscles, they attach. 2 muscle groups come into being one tendon and go underneath your groin. And man, when they're tight, look at where they're attached right on that spine. They can flex you forwards and rotate you. And so we're going to finish up stretching. We're going to stretch now the other side up nice and tall, like always. Hand on the hip to kind of support your balance and stuff. Get a nice pull through this right hip on this side, holding for 30 seconds to a minute. You only go to the point where you feel a stretch. You don't go into it where it's giving you some pain. Now that's 3 stretches that you can do at home if you're having some flexibility issues that's causing some back pain. Now I'm going to leave a link, boom, that you can go to, and that will discuss a little bit further some other issues that can go on with some lower back issues like stenosis, like weakness. And so, like always, leave some comments down below. Love you guys' comments. Keep bringing them. Going to keep having some great discussions if you guys want to. Until next time, look up. and keep smiling.